So here we're doing age-related questions, and a key idea in age-related questions is that the age difference does not change. So let's say the difference between Janet and the father, the age difference is 20. No matter which year it is, the difference will always be 20. Okay, let's begin. Janet is 6 years old. She is 1/5 of her father's age. Using the left-right arrows rule, you can say that Janet herself, 1 unit, father, 5 units. All right, so let's do that. I know it says Jane, but it's Janet. So Janet is 1 unit, father's 5 units. Since we know Janet is 6 years old, then the father is basically 5 times 6, isn't it? So the first thing we can do is to say, all right, so father's age is 5 times 6, that is 30. Okay, so how old will the father be in 2 years' time? Now, currently 30, but in 2 years' time will be 30 plus 2. 32. Mr. Macho is 32 years older than Millie, so the age difference is 32. Millie is 13, so we can actually find Macho right now. In how many years' time will Mr. Macho be twice? So I'm going to show a little diagram that I usually use. So Millie currently is 13. In how many years' time? So it's an unknown. Will the difference be 1U and 2U like that? The difference is 1U. Now, if the difference is always 32, no matter what year it is, shouldn't the difference be 32 here as well? And does that not tell us that 1 unit is therefore, oh, by the way, Macho now is just plus 32, right? So it's 45. Okay, so does that not tell us that the difference here, which is 1 unit, is therefore 32? Because the difference is unchanged. So in how many years' time will this be the case? Well, we know that this is 13 and 1U is 32. So the difference therefore is 32 minus 13, which is in 19 years' time. The age difference between Ronald and his father is 36 years. His father's age is 3 times of Ronald's age right now. So it's 3U and 1U for the father and Ronald right now, yeah? So that means since the difference is unchanged, that means the difference here, 2 units, will always be 36. So 2U is 36, 1U therefore is 18. So we know that Ronald now is 18. And in 3 years' time, we will just add 3 to it. The answer is 21. At present, Tammy is 20 years old, while her mother is 3 times her age, thrice. Okay, find the ratio of Tammy's age to mother's age in 6 years' time. So let's have a diagram here. Tammy currently is 20. In 6 years' time, we're going to add 6 to each of them. Anything else that we can tell? A mother is 3 times her age. So 20 times 3 is 60. That means we can fill in 60 right here. So the current age is 20 and 60. Well, what's the ratio then in 6 years' time? Well, we can just simply 20 plus 6, that's 26. 60 plus 6, that's 66. So the ratio is therefore 26 is to 66. In simplest form, 13 over 33. At present, Peter and Nikhil are 9 and 3 years old respectively. Respectively just means the first number mentioned is 9. That corresponds to the first person mentioned, that's Peter. 13 mentioned later, Nikhil mentioned later. So Nikhil is 13. All right, what will be the ratio of P to N in 5 years' time? Well, quite simply, P now is 9, N now is 13. In 5 years' time, each of them will add 5 to their age. So basically, you will get 9 plus 5, 14, and 13 plus 5, 18. The ratio, therefore, is going to be 14 is to 8. Simplify and you get 7 is to 9. When Ravin in the past was 12 years old, his father was 42. Hey, we can find the age difference between these two right now. His father is twice as old as he is now. Anyway, the age difference doesn't change, right? So the age difference in the past here was 30. In other words, no matter what year it is, it's always 30, the difference. So now it's 1U and 2U. So we can tell that 1U is therefore 30. How is the father now? Now it's father's 2U, right? So 2U times 2 times 30 is therefore 60. The combined age of Sharon and her cousin is 36. Well, we don't know, can't do much there. Sharon is 4 years older than her cousin. Yes, that we can definitely figure out. So right now it's 4 years older than the cousin. The combined is 36. We can do something about that. So S's Sharon's age must therefore be 36 plus 4 divided by 2. That's 20. C's age is 16. So the cousin in 5 years' time will simply be 16 plus 5. That's 21. In 2011, Dora's uncle's age is 32. Well, shouldn't that be in the past tense? Was 32 years old, and Dora was half of his age. Well, we can find out how old Dora was at that time, right? So just half 32, that's 16. The diagram looks like this. In 2011, Dora was 16 and uncle was 32. what would be the ratio in 14 years time? So add 14, and basically the ratio will therefore be 16 plus 4 is to 32 plus, did I say plus 4? 14 and plus 14. Okay, so this is 30, 46, simplify, 15, 23. Mrs. Lim is 41 years old and her daughter is 14 years old. Ooh, we can find the age difference straight away. How many years ago in the past was Mrs. Lim 4 times, so that's 4 units to 1 unit? The age difference must remain the same. Let's find the age difference then. So right now it's 41 and 14. We can find the age difference. So therefore, it will be 41 minus 14. Now this in the past was 4u and 1u, but the age difference should be the same as the difference here. So therefore, 3 units is 27. Okay, 1u is therefore 9. Now, how many years ago? Look at this. 14 right now. In the past, this was when she was 9. So how many years ago was that? The final step is 14 minus 9, which is 5 years ago. Cindy is 24 years old now. She is 6 times as old as her sister. Well, we definitely can do something about that. What was that total age 3 years ago? Well, okay. So now 24. Well, how to find 6 times, right? You divide by 6. That's 4 years old, the sister. So 24 divided by 4 gives us 4. How many years? Total age, sorry. 3 years ago. So minus 3 minus 3. Therefore, 24 minus 3 is 21. 4 minus 3 is 1. The total age was 22. Jeremy is 46 years old and Emily is 18 years old now. We can find the age difference straight away. How many years ago was Jeremy 5 times as old as Emily? So 5u, 1u, yeah? So Jeremy now is 46, Emily 18. How many years ago? So I'm going to draw right minus something, okay? And the case was 5u and 1u. Well, knowing that the difference is always going to be the same, therefore, the difference here, which is 4 units, will be equal to the difference here, which is 46 minus 18. So we have 4u equals to 28. 1u, therefore, is 28 divided by 4, which is 7. That's how I got 7 over here for 1u. And how many years ago was that? So Emily was 18, and this was true when she was 7. So the difference is 11. Madam Zuresh is 43 years old. Her son is 7 years old. We can find the age difference. In how many years' time in the future will Zuresh be 4 times as old as her son? So we know Zuresh right now, Madam Zuresh, 43. The son is 7. In a unknown number of years in the future, 4u, 1u. Okay, we can find the difference. Difference is always unchanged. So the difference here will be 3 units. And the difference here will be 36. So 1u therefore is 12. Well, we can say this is 1u, 12, which means we can find out in how many years' time. So 7 in the future, 12, that must be 5 years from now. Tom is 16 years old while his father is 44. We can find the age difference. How old was Tom when his father was 8 times as old as him? Well, the diagram looks like this. Tom is 16, father is 44. In a certain time in the past, how old was Tom in the past? This was 8u and 1u. So again, the age difference doesn't change. So the difference of 7 units here is the same as the difference here, which is 28. So 1u is 4. How old was Tom when this happened? Well, this is 1 unit. That was Tom's age. And therefore, we've got 4 to be the answer. In 8 years' time, Richard will be half his mother's age. If his mother is 58 years old now, what is Richard's age now? Well, the diagram looks like this. We don't know the age now, but we know 58 now for the mother. Right? In 8 years' time, Richard will be 1u, the mother will be 2u. Notice something? We can deal with this. 58 plus 8 will get us 2 units. So let's do that. Right? 2u is therefore 58 plus 8, 66. 1u therefore is 33. Oh, we can fill in 33 over here. So if this is 33 and we want Richard's age now, that will be 33 minus 8, giving us 25. Mrs. Lee is 32 years old and her son is 8. Well, we know the age difference. How old will son be in the future when Mrs. Lee is 3 times as old as him? So currently 32 and 8. In a certain time in the future, it will be 3 units and 1 unit. So difference remains unchanged. Therefore, we can say that 3u minus 1u, it will be the same as 32 minus 8. 2u is 24, 1u is 12. How old will her son be in this time? 1 unit is 12. That's the answer. Mrs. Lim is 63 and his son is 27. Well, we can find the age difference straight away. The age difference is 36. How many years ago in the past was Mr. Lim? How many years ago in the past, 63 now, 27, okay, was Mr. Lim 4 times as old as the son? All right. So we can find out, therefore, the difference being 3u will still be 36, right? So 3u is therefore is 36. 1u is therefore 12. So if 1u is 12, how many years ago was that? Right, the son was 12, now 27. The difference is therefore 15. 2 years ago, when Wenli's age was 12 years, 8 months. All right, so 2 years ago was 12 years, 8 months. So 2 years ago. Now will be 2 years later, which is plus 2 years. That's 14 years, 8 months. What's her age in 9 months' time? So I'm going to take 14 years plus 8 months plus another 8 months. Now, 8 months and 9 months, that's a total of 17 months, right? But we're not going to write 17 months because there are 12 months in a year, which means we can take 12 out here and count it as 1 year. So you minus 12, you're going to get 5 months. And you add another 1 year here, that's 15 years and 5 months. Melody is 6 years older than Brenda. That's the age difference. Brenda is 11 now. Brenda is 11 now. Older for Melody, that's 17 plus 6, right? So that's 17. In 10 years' time, what's their total age? So you're going to add 10, you're going to add 10, and the question is, what is the sum? Well, that's going to be 11 plus 17 plus 2 tenths, and that's going to be 28 plus 20, which is 48. Lionel is 3 years old. His father is 28 years older than he is, so the age difference is 28. In how many years' time, the future, would Lionel's father be 3 times? Okay, so the diagram looks like this, currently 3. Now, 28 is older, well, currently the father's 31, right? In a mysterious number of years in the future, there will be 3 units here and 1 unit here, but the age difference will remain as 28. Well, that means the 2 unit difference here will be equal to that 28. So 1u is therefore 14. And how many years' time? So 1u is 14 here. This is currently 3. Well, that will be 11 years in the future then. 14 minus 3. It's 11. Mr. Shah is 42. The son is 14. We know the age difference right now. How many years later in the future will the son be 1 unit and the Mr. Shah be 2 units? Right, basically half, right? So the diagram looks like this. Shah will be 2 units. Son will be 1 unit. But the difference here will remain the same as the difference here. So we have 2u minus 1u. 42 minus 14, that's 1u equals 28. Well, in how many years' time is that? That will be 28. 1u is 28 minus 14. That will be in 14 years' time. Eric is 8 years older than Lisa. Well, age difference right there. Lisa is 10 right now. Okay, so with Eric being, Lisa being 10 right now, and Eric being 8 years older, Eric is 18 right now. What's that total in 10 years' time? So you're going to add 10 for each of them, and the total sum of both of these two will be 18 plus 10 and 2 tenths. So that will be 48. Mr. Tam is 5 times as old as his grandson right now. So 5u and 1u. His grandson will be 18 years old in 3 years' time. Oh, we can work backwards, can't we? 18 in 3 years' time. So right now, just 18 minus 3. That will give us 15. 15, which means we can find what is that total age right now. Total age right now is 6 units. Therefore, I'm interested in 6u. So 15 times 6, that's 90. But what was that total 5 years ago? Now, not only will Mr. Tam minus 5, right? The grandson will minus 5 as well. So basically, it's 90 subtracted by 5, subtracted by 5, that's 80. The total age of Mrs. Lim and her daughter is 34. In 4 years' time, Mrs. Lim will be 5 times as old as her daughter. Okay, so we don't know what their age right now individually is, but we know the sum is 34. In 4 years' time, which means plus 4, Mrs. Lim will be 5u and the daughter will be 1 unit. Okay, so we can form an equation here actually. The sum is 34. If we add 8, we will obtain the value for 6 units. So right now, 5u plus 1u is exactly equal to 34 plus 4, right? So that will be 6u being 42, 1u being 7. Okay, now this is in 4 years' time though. So the daughter would be 7 in 4 years' time, which means her current age, you will have to subtract 4 from that 7. And that's what we'll do. This 7 here, go back to the age now, that will be minus 4. The answer is 3. Heidi is 41 right now, and her son is 17. Well, we can find the age difference. How many years ago? So we're going to pass. Was she 3 times as old as her son? Okay, so Heidi, 41 now, son, 17. A certain number of years ago, that was 3u and 1u. Well, we know the difference here, so we can say 3 minus 1u, that's 2 units. 41 minus 17, that's 24. So 1u is 12, okay? So 1u is 12 here, so how many years ago was that? That's 5 years. So 17 minus 12, that's 5 years. Carrie is 3 times as old as her daughter right now. Her daughter will be 21 in 8 years' time. Well, her daughter will be 21 in 8 years' time. So right now, we're going to take 21 minus 8. So 21 minus 8 is 13. That's 1 unit. So we can find, we don't have to find Carrie's age. What's that total? So 1U is 13. The total is 4 units. So we can find 4 units. 4U is therefore 13 times 4. That is 52. Mr. Goh is 35. His niece is 30 years younger than he is. Well, the niece is 30 years younger. Okay, so we know the age difference. And 35 right now, 30, well, it's 5, the niece is 5, so we can just do some simple subtraction here. In how many years' time will there be 3U and 1U? Well, the age difference is 30, so 2 units therefore is 30. 1U is therefore 15. How many years' time is that? This is 15, this was 5, so the answer is 10. We're working in multiples. Mr. Ang's age this year is a multiple of 8. Well, it could be 8, 16, 24, so on and so forth, yeah? Next year, his age, next year, we're going to add 1 to the age, won't we? Right, his age will be a multiple of 7. So the method I will employ here is guess and check. So just make a list. This year, it could be multiples of 8. So this is the list. Next year, you're just going to add 1 to whatever age it is until the first time you see that it is also a multiple of 7, which would be this. How old is Mr. Ang? Your answer is not 49, okay? 49 is the age next year. So the answer is therefore 48, yeah? Minus 1. Kylin is 5 times as old as Janet this year. Janet is 9. What can we do with that? We can say Janet is 9. So, and Kylin is 5 times. So 9 times 5 is 45. Kylin is 5 right now. In how many years' time will the difference be 2U? Will there be 2U and 1U? All right, so the difference is 1U. And the difference here is 36. Well, we can do that. 2 minus 1, 45 minus 9. 1U is therefore 36. In how many years' time is that? This is 36. So that would be 9 plus 27 to get us to 36. So the difference here is 36. Sorry, 27. Terry was 33 years old and his son was 5 years old 3 years ago. So the diagram looks like this. Terry was 33. The son was 5. 3 years ago, which means right now you're going to add 3 to it. So 33 plus 3 is 36 right now, and 5 plus 3, that's 8. Okay, we can also find the age difference. How old was Terry? So we're going in the past. Was Terry 5 times as old as his son? Well, okay, so the age difference doesn't change. Therefore, 33 minus 5, or you can take 36 minus 8, doesn't matter. 33 minus 5 is therefore 28. So these 4 units must therefore be the same, 28. 1U is therefore 7. Okay, how old was Terry at this point in time? All right, so we got 1U being 7, 5U is therefore 35. The ratio of Keith's age to Simon's age is 8:7. 2 years ago, so we're going to subtract 2 for each one. Keith was 22 years old. Well, so 8U and 7U, 2 years ago, Keith was 22. Well, right now, it's 22 plus 2. So we know that 8 units is therefore 24. Right, so let's do something about that. 8U is 24. So that's K's age now, 24. 7U therefore is 21. So we know this is 21 right now. What is the ratio of K to S in 6 years' time? Well, okay. So K is 24 plus 6. S it will be 21 plus 6. Simplify, you get 10:9. Kent is between 10 and 30 years old. Could be 11, could be 29, right? So in the year 2013, his age was, sounds like it should be in the past tense, right? It was a multiple of 4. Okay, we can use guess and check here. In the year 2014, hang on, that's the following year, isn't it? So it's going to add 1. Well, let's make a list then. So possible age in 2013 could be multiples of 4. It can't be 4 because between 10 and 30. So these are the possible ages. In 2014, we'll simply add 1. So 12 becomes 13, right? 24 becomes 25, all right, and so on and so forth. And do we have a multiple of 7? Yeah, we do. Right here is a multiple of 7. Okay, what was his age in 2012? My goodness, that's 2 years prior, right? So basically 2014, that's 21. 2 years prior would be 19. The ratio of Andy's age to his father's age is 2:5. So 2 units, 5 units. Their total now is 84. Whoa, we can definitely do something about that. So we know that 7 units is therefore 84. 7U is 84, 1U is 12. Well, do we have Andy's age? Yeah, we sure can find Andy's age. That is 2 units, isn't it? So therefore it's 24. But in 10 years' time, just add 10 to it, we're going to get 34. Madam Tan has 2 children, Jaden and Danica. In 2011, Madam Tan is 9 times as old as Jaden, and Danica is 1/3 of Madam Tan's age. Whoa, 1/3 of 9U is quite cool, right? So Madam Tan, let's have it be 9U. Keep in mind, it was in 2011. Danica, 1/3 of that. Danica is therefore 3 units. Jaden, 1 unit. Okay, that's fine. The sum of the 2 children's age is 24. Well, we can form an equation there. 1U plus 3U is 24. 1U is therefore 6. Okay, so Madam Tan's age, 9 units, therefore 54. But that was in 2011. So in 2018, which is 7 years ahead, you're just going to add 7, and the answer is 61. The combined age of Grace and her brother is 73. Grace is 7 years younger than her brother. Okay, with that we can do something about. Well, Grace is 7 years younger, also means the brother is 7 years older. The sum is 73. We can form an equation here. 2U, we take 73 minus 7, that's 66. That's 2 units. 1U is therefore 33. Well, what's Grace's age? It's definitely 33. And what's the brother's age as a fraction of her brother's age? So of tells me the brother's age will be the denominator, and that would be 40. This is the simplest form, and that's the answer. Lena is 12 years older than her brother. 2 years ago, the sum was 70. Hang on. So 2 years ago, the sum was 70, and the difference was definitely still the same, 12 years. Okay, let's find the ages 2 years ago, shall we? So 2U plus 12 is 70, 1U is 29. So what are their ages right now? So 1U is 29, that's useful. For Lena, that's 29 plus 12 plus 2, because this was 2 years ago. For the brother, that's 29 plus 2, that's 31. Okay, how many years ago was Lena 3 times as old as the brother? The current age is 43 and 31. But the age difference is still 12. So we got 2 units, therefore being 12, 1U is 6 here. Now this unit here is not the same as this unit, yeah? Don't be confused. So this here is 6, and how many years ago is that? 31 minus 6, therefore gives us 25 years ago. Joanne is 19 years old this year. In 8 years' time, so we're going to add 8 in the future, right? Her grandmother will be 3 times as old as she is. Alright, so how old 4 years ago? So we have here Joanne 19 this year. In 8 years' time plus 8, well, we know this for sure is 27. The grandma would be 3 times older than this, so that would be 81 here. To find out how old she is right now, that will be minus 8. Yeah, so let's do that. 81 minus 8, now it's 73. But the question wants the age 4 years ago, so that would be a further subtraction of 4, giving us 69 as the answer. Mei Ling's age this year is a factor of 66. Well, it's a factor of 66. Well, we can list the factors of 66 for sure. So Mei Ling's age must be one of these. I don't think it's 66. Next, 4 years ago, her age was a multiple of 6. Alright, so 4 years ago, well, let's guess, shall we? Minus 4? Well, this is not a multiple of 6. 33 minus 4, 29. That's not a multiple of 6. So this is basically guess and check. 22 minus 4, that's 18. This is a multiple of 6. So what's Mei Ling's age this year will therefore be 18 plus 4. Why? Because 4 years ago. Her age was 4 years ago, 18. This year, 18 plus 4, 22. Lily is 3/7 of her mother's age. Well, we can tell straight away from here that Lily has 3 units and mother's age will be 7 units. Well, her mother is 49 years old now. So these 7 units will represent 49. And this is the current age. Well, let's have a little diagram to make everything clear. 3U, 7U here. In how many years' time, so add a certain number here, will the total be 100? Okay, so while we can definitely work with 7U being 49, So we can write 49 and 21, right? After we find 1u, we can find 3u, that's 21. So fill in this, we do not have unknowns anymore, we have the real numbers. Okay, next, we can say 100 minus these two numbers will give us 30. Therefore, since these two numbers are exactly the same, we can take 30 divided by 2, giving us 15. So the answer is in 15 years' time. Josh's auntie is thrice of Josh's age now. Their combined age 4 years ago was 60. So now I can draw a model for 3u and 1u right here. This is the current age. 4 years ago, so minus 4 minus 4, the sum was 60. Now, if we add 4 and add 4, we can find 4 units, can't we? So 4u is therefore 60 plus 4 plus 4, that's 68. 1u is 17, which is Josh's current age, but we want the auntie's age now, which would be 17 times 3, giving us 51. What is the ratio of Josh's age to the auntie's age 3 years from now? Okay, so we're going to add 3 to each number here. So current age 17 plus 3, that's 20. Current age 51 plus 3, that's 54. Simplify, we get 10 is to 27. Emily was twice as old as Jimmy 5 years ago. Okay, we can draw a model for that. In 10 years time, so in the future, Jimmy will be 32 years old. Well, we know that 5 years ago, the ratio was 2:1, which means if we add 5, we will get the current age. In 10 years time, Jimmy will be 32. So what can we do with this information? Well, we definitely can find Jimmy's age now. Look at this. This is 32. In 10 years in the future, minus 10 will get me 22. That's his current age. What about 5 years ago? Just minus 5. We will get 1u being 17, which means we can find 2 units. That is 34. But how old is Emily now? You're going to plus 5. Yeah. So the last step will be Emily plus 5. 34 plus 5. That's 39. Dila was 38 years old and her son was 5 years old 3 years ago. Okay, so we can draw a model here. 3 years ago, Dila was 38 and her son was 5, and that's 3 years ago. So the current age can be found just 38 plus 3, that's 41. It's 5 plus 3, the current age is 8. In how many years time from now, so an unknown number in the future, will Thela be 4 times as old? Remember, for age, right, the difference doesn't change, yeah? So if the age difference was 33, okay, then we know that the difference here of 3 units will be 33 as well, which means 1 unit is 11. So in how many years time is that? So 1u is 11, this is 8. Well, 11 minus 8 gives us 3 years. The ratio of Madame Huda to her son's age is 5:1 right now. In 7 years' time, she will be thrice as old as her son. Okay, let's have a model. Huda versus son right now, 5u, 1u. In 7 years' time, so plus 7 plus 7, she would be 3 times as old as her son. Okay, so from here, we know that the difference is unchanged. That means we can say 5u minus 1u will be exactly the same as 3p minus 1p. So I call it units and parts, yeah? So we can therefore see that 4u is equal to 2p, which means if we divide by 2, 1p is actually 2 units. In other words, this is the same as 2 units. And 3p is actually the same as 6 units. Now, don't we love it in maths when we have the same unknown, right? When we have one unknown, right? We don't want 2 unknowns, we want 1 unknown. So can we not tell that 1u plus 1u is 2u? That means 7 is 1 unit. In fact, 5u plus 1u gets us 6u, which means 1u is 7. So we can form the equation, 1u is therefore 7. What's the total age of Huda and the son right now? That is basically 6 units, isn't it? Right, so from here, 1u is 7, 6u is therefore 42. And we have a level 3. Mark's current age is 1 unit and Ronald's 4 units. So 1 to the left, 4 to the right. Okay, so let's do that. 1u now, Ronald, 4 units. In 24 years' time, so plus 24 plus 24, well, we can say that this is 1u plus 24. We can say this is 4u plus 24. Ronald's age will be 14 years less than twice of Mark's age. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's handle one part. This is a very complex phrase, isn't it? All right, let's analyze this one part at a time. So what is twice of Mark's age? Twice of Mark's age would be 2 of the 1u plus 24, yeah? So 2 of that would be 2u plus 48. What's 14 less than that? What's 14 less than this? Basically, it's 2u plus 48 minus 14. So it's actually 2u plus 34, which is basically R's age in 24 years' time. Can we not say, therefore, that this is equal to this? So let's form an equation. 4u plus 24 is therefore equal to 2u plus 34. So let's get the units together, shall we? See, 4u is the larger one. This guy stays here. 2u, the smaller one, goes to the left. So positive 2u goes to the left, negative 2u. Positive 34 stays here. Negative 24, why? Positive here, negative on the right side. What do we get? 2 units is therefore equal to 10. Now, what do they want? Ronald's age now, which is, thanks to our nifty little diagram, 4 units. So from 2u to 4u, just times 2. Same thing on the right-hand side, we get 20. When Mrs. Lee was 40 years old, her son was twice her daughter's age. Well, we've got 3 people involved over here. All right, so Mrs. Lee will be twice her son's age when her daughter is 28. Well, that's a lot of information. Let's have a diagram to keep things in check, yeah? So, Mrs. Lee, 40 years old, her son was twice her daughter's age. So, let the daughter be 1 unit. The son will therefore be 2 units. So do you see this part here, difference unchanged? Now look at the siblings' age difference, isn't it? The son is 1u older. When the daughter is 28, won't the difference be 1u older for the son? Yeah, absolutely. So what's 1u older than 28? 28 plus 1u. Next, what's twice of this? Because the mother will be twice the son's age. Well, twice of this would be 56 and 2 units. Now, this is where the magic of difference unchanged occurs. So, do you see the difference between Mrs. Lee and the son? That's 40 minus 2u, isn't it? Now, we are not taking 2u minus 40 because clearly Mrs. Lee's age is larger. Yeah, so it's not 2u minus 40, it's 40 minus 2u. 40 is the larger number here. All right, next, the difference between them would therefore be 1u and 28. This is an equation we can use to solve for an unknown 1u for sure. So let's see, positive 1u is larger than negative 2u, so 1u stays here. This negative 2u goes over to the right side, being positive 2 units. 40 stays there. This positive 28 goes over, negative 28. So 1u plus 2u is therefore 3 units. And right side is 12. 1u is therefore 4. Our daughter now is therefore 4 years old. How old will Mrs. Lee be when her daughter is 20? Oh my goodness, yeah? Okay, so when her daughter is 20, so how old would Mrs. Lee be? Now, given that the current age is 4 here, when the daughter is 20, that's basically saying in 16 years' time, right? So, knowing that the current age of Mrs. Lee, nifty truth. Here's our nifty little diagram again. So 40, right? If you're going to add 16 to it, well, what's Mrs. Lee's age? That would be 56. All right, another level 3. Mrs. Lim is 40 years old and her son is twice her daughter's age. Mrs. Lim will be 3 times her son's age when her daughter is 12. Okay, so very similar to the other question. So let's draw this, right? 40 right now, Mrs. Lim. And the son is twice. So let's have the daughter be 1 unit and the son be 2 units twice, right? And note, the age difference right now is 1 unit. The son is 1 unit older, which means whichever year it is, the difference will be 1u. All right, so when the daughter is 12, so unknown years later, the daughter is 12, but hang on, the son will still be 1 unit older than the daughter. So take whatever the daughter's age is plus 1u. That is the son's age. And since Mrs. Lim will be 3 times of this, so 3 times of this is going to give us 36 plus 3u. Right here. Now we know for sure that the difference between Mrs. Lim and the son's age will never change. So this difference will be exactly the same as this difference. And with that, we can form an equation, right? So 40 minus 2 units will be exactly the same as 2 units and 24, the difference between these two. From here, we're going to do a bit of algebraic manipulation. So the larger unit here is 2u, not negative 2u. So 2u stays on the right side. This negative 2u comes over, positive 2u. 40 was there first, stay here. Positive 24 goes over, negative 24. So 2u plus 2u gets us 4u. Right hand side is 16. 1u is therefore 4. That's the daughter's age right now. Okay, and 2u is 8, the son's age right now. Okay, how old will Mrs. Lim be when her 2 children's combined age equals to her age? My goodness. Okay, so we know the current age is basically 8 and 4, yeah? So 8 and 4. In how many years' time? So this is an unknown, okay? So let's say this is currently going to be 4 plus x or x plus 4. Right, this is definitely x plus 8. This is 40, x plus 40. But the combined age of the children, which is 2x plus 12, will be exactly the same as her age. Now, can't we form an equation with this? Yes, we absolutely could. So we can now say that x plus 40, Mrs. Lim's age, at this mysterious time, will be exactly the same as the combined age of the children. So again, algebraic manipulation, we are going to say 2x is the larger one compared to x, so it stays on the right hand side. Positive x goes over negative x. 40 was there first, negative 12 on the left side. 2x minus x gives us x. This subtraction gives us 28. How old will Mrs. Lim be? The required age is therefore Mrs. Lim will be x plus 40. Since we know x is 28, x plus 40 is simply 28 plus 40. That is 68 years old. Hoo-wee, that was a tough one. You have finished age-related questions. Good luck.